okay? You have congestion at Embarcadero that is legendary and an example to all other cities who want a lot of congestion. The S is now redundant. It is redundant. Also, the idea that people want to go from Sunnyvale to the Castro is a possibly redundant idea as well. Get rid of the S, turn the T around at Embarcadero. You're just trying to move people. It's not a solution to San Francisco's problems, but it's a great addition. You've got to alleviate the pressure on people at the beginning where the 15 used to start. They live stressful lives, more so than other people, and then they have to hassle with these one-car T trains. I would be armed if I was in that situation every day. Okay, that's a little extreme. And just two things. Why is the 9 running down Stockton to add to the congestion? Run it the way the 15 used to, down Columbus or get creative. Okay?
We don't want overload.
One more. The 10 bus makes a ridiculous little dog leg to the bus station to pick up people who probably don't even expect it to come. Run it down 2nd Street, and let's get on with our lives.
All right, amen. I like all those questions because except for the S, which I hadn't considered, we considered a lot of those suggestions. So let's take the last point, and we'll go backwards.
The last question had to do with the 10, and why is the 10 making that loop? The 10 is making that loop because we have riders in that area that wanted to get the 10 going to Caltrain. So that loop was added to take up those riders. Otherwise, they would be ignored. We had in the rush hour over 300 riders that are riding from our survey in that area. The second question had to do with the S.
What about the 9? That's an interesting point. 9X. Going down Stockton. Chaotic.
The 9X, before April was running down Stockton, we continued to run it because there's a demand for that service through Chinatown. And the reason for running it through there is the demand that we have through Chinatown.
I'd like to look into this. Let's follow up on this. Why don't you guys write that down, and let's talk a little bit more, because that's an interesting recommendation. Yeah. Maybe we can move it. I mean, this is what this is about. So I like that idea.
It sounded like you had some questions regarding the rail service plan, which we are changing today.
Yep.
So.
No, the N, J.
Oh, okay. The challenge with Embarcadero is coming in that direction into the subway. It's not an easy process for us to make that turn to send it back southbound. That's the challenge there, our infrastructure.
But I do want to take advantage, because not many people know what you know, that there are big changes afoot on the N and the J, and they're taking place today. And that's actually coincidental, though I like this type of coincidence that we're talking about this today, and will matter on Monday. Tell us what those changes are and why those that have been frustrated by the N and J should be very pleased.
At the beginning of service this morning, we interlined the K and the T. One of the challenges we had with the T line is turning it around at Castro. We had a run time from Sunnydale to Castro and back to Sunnydale of over 144 minutes. With interlining the K and the T, it's a 90-minute headway from Sunnydale to Balboa Park. And we tested this. We did simulations for 2 weeks in a row, and we're able to complete the trips 70% or more of the trips on time from Sunnydale to Balboa Park. So we believe that would make a major difference beginning, and it started this morning. We are taking the N back to Caltrain, back coming here. I live on the South Beach, and I rode the N in here this morning. We also beginning to turn the J back at Embarcadero, and that would go take the J line out from going over to Caltrain. One of the major accomplishments with this is we've been able to lower the number of turnarounds in the subway from 480 turnarounds a day to 351, about a 20 to 30% reduction in turnarounds. Also at Castro, we have reduced over 60% of the turnaround per day at Castro. We are going to continue with the Castro shuttle because in the AM and PM peak, there is a real need for extra service in the Castro district. So that will continue with the Castro shuttle. But in the AM, we have an exceedingly high demand for riders in the Castro. When we get out from West Portal to Van Ness, there's a very high ridership in that corridor in the peak hours. So the need to have the service is why we have that shuttle running at that time.
Okay, we can talk more about that. We're getting short on time, so I'm going to ask shorter questions, shorter answers, sir.
Thank you. This question is mostly for, first of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this meeting today. Secondly, the question I have is for Ms. Fong. One of the things I want to know is if the city has considered increasing officers on bicycles for a couple of reasons. One,